Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the City of Reading Planning Commission Workshop meeting for June 18th, 2024. I am Wayne Dealer, the chairman. With us here is Commissioner James Harris, and online we have Commissioner Nelson DeLeon and Commissioner Wilson. And first up on our workshop meeting is an overview of the Reading Downtown Strategic Plan. I'll hand it over to Simon.
Thank you so much. The downtown plan, which we're going to discuss, we had already touched on it in our last meeting, and really today was simply to take time and share what we found out and perhaps think on how we can move forward. I'm quickly going to run through some slides which I have put together, and looking at the plan, I did not capture everything. I just picked some few aspects of the plan that will help us to kind of remember or think about it as a whole. But this plan was put in place in 2022, 2022, and the focus was, the plan was to move the city of Reading towards a more economically competitive, equitable, and resilient future. If you look at this plan, it was supposed to give us an opportunity as a city to be more competitive, to be a place which is equitable and more resilient. The plan focuses on more aspects, but the core aspects that stands out are the economic aspect, demographics, mobility, and environment. Now, if you look at it as a document, it has more breakdown of those areas. And at the annex, it has more details where the consultant took time to break down each and every section, and he has given in detail what needs to happen, and he has given an idea of the plan, approach as well. This plan was structured in 8 aspects. Like if you look at it, it captures our city, and this is the idea that the consultant brought about. So from number 1 up to number 8, on the right, he has listed some of the areas that he thought were the key projects that we can take on, which is also part of the plan, included there. And one of the area, he was able to break it in goals, and the goals were in 2 forms. One of them, he considered them place-based goals. This is what I would call physical goals, but also he called them policy-based goals, which are non-tangible goals. And if you look at the goals, for example, at the riverfront, he's talking about transforming this place into a regional riverfront park destination to celebrate the Penn Street to riverfront as a riverfront connection. And these goals are basically ideas which could lead into actions that will guide us on how to move forward as a city, because it goes specifically addressing each and every section as he has looked at it into the plan. These sections are broken down into details, and this plan can go down to up to activity level, which will be a good way of guiding the implementation efforts. If you look at the policy-based goals, which are again intangible, the consultant was talking about, for example, the city of Reading building on the architectural legacy which the city has and has had for a long time to revive downtown. One of the things also he brought about that we really possess, and it is true, is the public realm. And he thinks if we plan, program, and design downtown public realm that proactively invites the full spectrum of the community, he feels inclusion and engagement of the community would be an important aspect. He was looking at culture and partnership also as one of the areas. And in partnership, he feels we need to use the public-private partnership, especially in the aspect of investment, but also in another part, he talks about funding, but also in the aspect of development as well. So partnership is considered a core aspect in this plan. I am just giving you an idea, a glimpse of the thought of the consultant when he was putting this together. This is how he felt our downtown riverfront park should look like. There is a lot more information in relation to that, but if you look at it, he says Reading riverfront destination for the entire community and connectivity improvement to the region. Looking at it, his idea is that riverfront, once put together, is not only going to be for Reading, but he feels this is going to impact the rest of probably the city, the municipality, and perhaps the region, which will be utilizing this. But if you look at it, that is how he was thinking about it and how he brought it out. Another idea that came out of the plan was the safer streets and intersections. Here, he was thinking about the idea of like path where people can, walking path. If you look on the left and on the right as well, there is the bicycle path where cyclists are using. There is a very nice designed intersection where motorists and the public and even cyclists are using. So those are some of the ideas he was bringing out to ensure the plan is able to capture the gap and bring out the aspect of safety, especially in the intersections. The crashing point, especially in the city. There is an aspect where he also talks about those because those are key important. And this comes out as a part of the public safety, where if you look at it, he did give us very specific points. Like, for example, he's talking about installing high visibility crosswalks, relocate utility poles to increase visibility of turning vehicles. And this is on Washington 4th and Washington 6th Street. The plan basically gives us breakdown of different areas and how we should think about in addressing this. The core aspect is the aspect of funding. And at one point, personally, I took time to also talk with the funding office about how we are going to go about this. But apart from other funding opportunities which the city has, the plan brings about 3 sources, and one of them is the state funding, which is available to us, and also the plan brings out the aspect of the federal funding, which is also available, but also it talks about TIF, which is taxes generated out of these investments that will be done within the city once this plan is being implemented. This, I have talked about them before, but I would like to reiterate the fact that us putting this plan in place and starting to implement it, it will help us to bring back life into the city, in that we are going to be able to reactivate the former city institution culture and traditions, which brings life to the city, but also motivate residents to engage. And how are we doing this? The question of engagement and engaging the community remains very, very important. And I think having this plan in place will be a good channel through which we can mobilize a team that can be able to start implementation, especially in the downtown of the city. This plan will also trigger other funding. At this point, once we put this plan in place, I feel it is going to help us to start putting activities in place, and we can track these activities. At the end of the day, when the planning commission sits here, let's say next year, we're able to track some of the activities that we promised to do in the course of the year. This plan is not going to be implemented alone. The plan will work with other funding opportunities like CRIS, and we have many others that are running in the city. So if this plan is going to address, for example, downtown, then the CRIS will address another aspect. And before time, we shall find that our city is starting to grow based on the opportunities that we have, based on the investments that we have been able to put in. I feel the commencing the implementation of this plan will not only give us confidence, but will help our partners, and also will bring out a basis for the comprehensive plan, which we are starting to put in place. The plan will also create confidence not only in us, but also in our partners who are friends and donors and people who works with the city of Reading to ensure revitalization is happening. And the agenda on this list, and Jerome, feel free to jump in, is we would like to move this plan forward towards adoption so that implementation and engagement of the different departments within the city starts to happen. Thank you.
We got to keep in mind is the plan was developed in 2021 and last modified in 2022. So not everyone is on board with all the recommendations that are contained within the plan. And also there are some other opportunities that may have become more available to the city to implement the plan. So there will be a disclaimer in the plan that basically states that this does not reflect the current administration's goals, objectives, policies, but it is a point where the city should continue to look at this past effort and continue it within the comprehensive plan.
Any questions or comments?
One, just, one thing I wanted to mention is that, if you look at the last, it's 45 or 50 pages, is the implementation. And, one of the things that it calls for is like a steering committee. And Simon is working on trying to schedule with someone with West Reading, so that we can put such a steering committee together. So that there are already things happening in the background that so that we can begin work on this and include our partners in West Reading, who just released their new development plan, and it basically says they should be cooperating with us. So this seems like the best opportunity to have us come together.
I think Jamie has some questions or comments. Go ahead, Jamie.
I'm really happy to see this and it being discussed. I just wanted to mention that, caveat to being on city council is that I also work for State Representative Johanny Cepeda Freites. So Simon, if you guys know who you would like to connect to, because West Reading is part of Johanny's district, I can attempt to connect you to someone. I mean, Nick is their downtown, like what Maritza would be kind of like their downtown coordinator. But if there's someone in the borough, maybe the borough manager or someone who you need to connect to, let me know. Feel free to reach out to me and I can make that connection then.
Thank you, James. That is very helpful.
Anything, James?
My only thing is, sure, we tried other strategic plans in the past. What makes this pass any different than previously?
The biggest difference is that we're trying to get this off the shelf and dust it off rather than drawing up the plan and then putting it on the shelf and doing nothing with it.
So what would be
Every strategic plan I've seen in the past 20 years is just sitting on the shelf.
right? So I'm up for it. I'm up for it.
So it's up to us then to take these policy statements, and then when we do the comprehensive plan and prepare it, and we revert back to the Downtown Plus plan, that there's consistency, as well as the Downtown Plus plan may have done more in terms of background research and development on that subject, so we can use it as a good reference.
Perhaps to add on is that for a long time, the city has kind of fallen away with the population. That connection has not been very, very active. And this plan is going to give us an opportunity to establish that connection, so that as the comprehensive plan comes, at least it will find us having something on the ground. But also, if you look at the plan by itself, it brings out very key strategic focus aspects that I feel will give us a good foundation for us to start moving as a city, so that we are able to address some of the gaps that are existing, especially in the aspect of parking, which is also another thing we shall talk about perhaps in the coming meeting. But the aspects of parking, aspects of redesigning our streets. So I feel the plan will be a good platform to help push us forward.
When Simon first came on board, we were getting information that was available to him, and I had to identify plans that were completed but not adopted, and I think that's where Simon's questions came about, and good for him that he had asked some of these questions, because it is kind of a defeating end run when you don't adopt a plan. So it just, you get so close and you put a lot of effort into it, and it's not adopted. So once it's adopted, it'd be a good reference manual for us to use for the comprehensive plan. And again, it'll be supportive versus something that could be utilized in a negative state. It'll be positive.
Will, did you have anything?
Not yet, thank you. I should know this already, I guess. Is this something we reviewed before?
So, quite a bit ago, when we went over it in detail, you were not available at that meeting because it was in.
Oh, when there was the daytime session, right? And then I got sent the video of that, so that's what okay. But we don't have a document in front of us yet. Okay.
I will make sure that link is provided to you for the slide presentation. Simon will make sure.
Okay, great. I would look forward to this. I haven't had the opportunity yet, and I definitely would like to review that. Okay. Are we to be considering this at our meeting next week?
Now, I think right now it's for information purposes only.
Okay.
What Simon has in mind is to get this back in front of City Council, but we want to make sure that the Planning Commission is on board with the plan itself. And just so you're familiar with it, there will be a point where the Planning Commission will need to make a recommendation.
I see.
Moving forward, but that'll take it'll probably take 4 or 5 months if we get everything all going in the right direction for adoption.
Yeah, very well. I do look forward to reviewing that, and I like what I heard about having it be a piece of the comprehensive plan that we are trying to get back to. Okay, well, that's all. Thank you.
Do you have anything else?
Did we confirm his audio, Mr. Chairman?
Oh, I'm glad to see that there's a plan. That's good news.
One thing that I will, since Jamie is with us, one thing that the plan recommends is reestablishing the downtown improvement district or some form of it. And of course, I don't know if you were on council at that time, Jamie, when actually,
Johanny was on.
Johanny was on council at that time. And they didn't renew the DID charter last time around.
We have downtown ambassadors now that kind of sort of took over those aspects of what the DID did. But if you want to know specifically what their function is, you can ask Maritza. She's the downtown coordinator.
Yeah, I think maybe we should bring downtown coordinator.
So my understanding from discussions with Johanny is that the DID wasn't exactly functioning up to the level that council wanted it to function.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was not on council, but that's the only thing I'm privy to, is that they weren't maybe at the level that they would have wanted to see when it came to engaging with the downtown and business owners and whatnot.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that we'll need to take a look at then as we move forward with this is what were the things that council felt were lacking with the DID? And can we do those through the administration with the downtown coordinator? And the other question is, do we have a downtown development?
That's,
If we do.
that's Maritza. Yeah.
So, I think we can have Maritza come in. And give us a presentation on this kind of stuff. I think that would be very helpful.
I can reach out to her.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
She would have come in today, but she has another program which she's running, so she was not able to join us, but.
Yeah, no problem. I know everybody in the city is very busy. Anything else on this topic? Okay, we will move on to the 317 Franklin Street sketch plan.
Okay. We received the sketch plan application for 317 Franklin Street. We understand that there is a person or persons here to present this to the planning commission. The sketch plan will be reviewed by this planning commission on next week at its meeting on the 25th. So this gives the applicant the opportunity to present project.
Yeah, so we have the architect, Louis Massiati, and also the owner on the line. So Louis, if you wanted to briefly explain the project. Can you hear us, Louis?
Yes, it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay. You're looking at the cover sheet of the drawings. It just shows the codes and everything else and exiting. Following, we should get to the floor plans. Egress and occupant load plan. Here's the first floor plan. This is a former furniture storage or sales room, approximately 5,500 square feet, being converted to a daycare facility for approximately 35 children. Facilities are provided for 2 bathrooms per gender for the staff. There's a reception office at the front, as well as a handicapped exit toward the rear. This is a result of the sloping site. It's the only place we can work a ramp. There presently is a ramp out front, which is only suitable for moving furniture, doesn't meet handicap.
What was the square footage for the first floor?
How much is the square footage? 5,500 square feet approximate.
Okay. All right.
There are
Second floor.
5 parking spaces on site, including 1 handicap space next to the handicap ramp. The remainder of the parking has been approved to use the 4th and Cherry garage. We also include an indoor-outdoor play area at the rear with staff space and storage.
Is that secure part? Is that a secured area?
Pardon me?
Meaning is it fenced? Is it secured? Meaning is it fenced so children can't wander off or people can come in?
The site is totally secure. There is an overhead garage door with a chain link fence in the summer to be, so it can be open air, but still secure. There are apartments above which have totally separate entrance and exit. And it's controlled.
Not sure what's.
Yes.
Okay, at the one-stop meeting, we had discussion on parking and also queuing. that right?
Yeah, so we had discussed about having one of these parking spaces as a designated drop-off space.
That would be a
And
staff,
then,
yeah, that could be a staff space to keep it vacant during drop-off times.
How often do drop-offs occur during the day? I mean, at the peak time.
Well, it's there,
We're just trying to avoid double park.
it's going to be a parade of cars dropping off the children
Hey,
in the area, around nine AM.
I'm in a meeting, but I wanted to talk with you.
You what?
I'm in a,
Go ahead, Louis.
hold on.
Go ahead, Louis. Continue.
Back to
Let's
me?
ask an easy question.
Yes, please.
Okay. The reception and office for the main entrance are secure with a check-in window, electronically controlled doors. Nobody enters this building without being approved or identified.
Number of children, maximum capacity.
Children are brought in by the parents, yes.
No, how many? 35.
Was that a question?
Yeah, is it 35 children and no adults?
Of varying ages, from infant to preschool and some school age, kindergarten, first grade.
So the main reason for them coming in as a sketch plan, this property also was given zoning relief to do adaptive reuse for apartments on the upper floors. However, they're phasing the project, so they want to get the daycare underway first. Then they will be constructing the apartments and doing all the improvements for that. So this was just to get any kind of comments before they submit their land development plan for the daycare.
And they submitted a sketch plan, so that
Yeah.
we're just going to handle it as an informal review. So Louis, we'll have this on the planning commission's agenda next week, or also for informal discussion. So there may be additional questions that come back to you.
Okay,
It does look quite complete already, so.
At the one-stop meeting, we had this main concern was double park.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where Carpenter Street is. Oh, there it is, Carpenter, okay.
Do any commissioners have any questions or comments at the moment?
Oh, this used to be the
fish
seafood
market, yep.
the fish market, okay. It was only a furniture store for a short amount of time. Okay. All right, now it all makes sense to me. I can't. Do you have anything, James? No. Okay. Will can't see it, but this is on the corner of Franklin and Carpenter Street, Will.
correct.
Yes, I looked it up a while. I remembered it as the fish market too. That's what I was thinking. It was close to that. Yep. Okay. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for the presentation. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that looks good. That looks very good. Also been happy. Yeah. Okay, next we move on to the zoning and saldo amendments.
Okay, so those have been now forwarded. The phase 1 and 2 amendments have been forwarded to city council. And as you know, that will be going through their process for adoption. I believe the first reading is scheduled, then there'll be the second reading and then the hearing. So it'll take some time to go through that effort. we did find a couple typos that we made, corrections to, so, all is good on that front, and, the zoning amendments were sent separately, and then the Saldo's amendments followed shortly thereafter, so that there be no confusion on, what was being presented to council, but, I would say probably within the next 2 to 3 months, we'll have those adopted and all is good.
Okay, great. 2 years worth of work. Okay, any update on the zoning map revision?
We haven't received any comment back from First County Planning Commission. I don't know if maybe they sent it to Linda directly and she hasn't forwarded it to us, but she's usually really good with getting that to us immediately, so. Jerome, should we?
Simon should probably check on it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I did reach out to her, but she didn't seem to have anything for us, so I assume this, I think I'll.
It did go directly to the county, so you could probably check with county representatives.
Yeah, either Michelle or I forget the other.
it was sent directly to, I think, Ashley and David Hunter.
Oh,
They were extremely late as well on the phase 1 and 2 amendments. They were at least 45 days out. This is beyond that. This is
Yeah.
like about 60 days.
so it must be
Probably
really
just send an
stacked up over
email.
there.
And just. Obviously.
Okay, next up, Reading Transit Oriented Development Overlay District.
Yes, we are working with the consultant for the project to discuss our thoughts. We have meetings scheduled with them, I think, over the next 2 weeks that we are going to present our ideas. They are now at a point where they're identifying the service area of the TOD overlay, as well as what uses would be permitted, and just some requirements in order to make it merge in with the existing zoning ordinance. So that'll take some time. I think you'll be seeing this again at one of your future. Yeah, I think it's in July or August. Yeah, July or August. I remember. So I think I saw it there. So that's where that stands, and there's still a lot of work to do yet. And at this point, I will ask Phil if he has any questions or is looking for an update on the Castlewood.
Did you address me? I didn't hear part of that.
Oh, I just wanted to see if you had any questions or if you were looking for an update on Castlewood or.
I knew that you were going to discuss it, and I didn't know if you might have any questions of me. What I can tell you is that today we started the cleanup as per request, and that will be finished probably tomorrow. And we've been in touch with Michelle Mayfield about filling out those stormwater agreements, and rather complicated, I think, for a bunch of novices. But we've also made a suggestion to her that how about the HOA just sign off on the stormwater agreements, because people's properties will change. We have people that move in and out. And this way, you've asked us to keep the HOA. We're going to keep the HOA. So just let the HOA deal with it. We have some covenants in the HOA bylaws that address those stormwater issues and so forth. So we haven't heard back from Michelle yet whether that would work or not, but that's where we are with the project.
Yeah, I have the documents. I was sick for about 2 weeks, late May, early June. So I'm trying to play catch up from that. It's the commission's, I can follow the commission's guidance. Do they want it with the HOH or they want it with the individual? The individual members, it would be filed with the recorder of deeds, so if the property would be transferred, then the new buyers would be aware of it. There'll be additional costs because there'll be multiple agreements. As long as the HOA stays in existence, my only concern with doing it that way is it would not be in the recorder of deeds office, so I'm not sure how they put new buyers on notice of such covenants.
Okay.
Would it not be recorded with the revised plan of record?
If we could do it that way, yes. I forgot there was a revised plan coming. Yes, we could do it that way.
Oh, that would be, that seems like a good way to do it, it seems to me.
Okay.
So,
And maybe
because
put
the
it,
HOA is like a continuous thing, so.
and put a note on the plan.
Okay. I mean, that
Yeah,
that would be agreeable to us. We'll do whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it might make it easier for you, Phil.
Yeah, our concern was people move in and out all the time. And sometimes you, as you well know, getting a group of people to do something is a lot like herding cats. It doesn't work real well. And this way, probably myself and a board member will sign off, or the president and I will sign off on that. And we still need your guidance about what goes where on that, Michelle. And, it's okay. I hope you are feeling better.
Thank you. I am better. It was just a rough 2 weeks, but thank you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, some of that stuff really hammers you. But that's where we are. And like I said, tomorrow the cleanup should be done and the guys have done a great job. So as soon as
Michelle, can you provide them the language that you prefer to see on the plan?
And he said, yes, I'll put something together. I'll put something together and I'll work on marking up the agreements.
that's fine. And if there's anything we need to do, just let us know.
Great, thanks, Michelle. After all these years, we can finally get this wrapped up.
Well, let me tell you, I'm glad I'm still alive to see it happen, and I hope I make it through till the final paperwork happens. And I thank all of you. I know a lot of people put a lot of time and energy into this, and we greatly appreciate it now that hopefully we'll be fully part of the city. So, okay, that's all I have, unless any of you have anything for me. No?
Yeah, no, I think we're all good here. Thank you, Phil.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today and giving us
right.
the update. And this has been really helpful, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. And Michelle, we'll wait to hear from you and go from there. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You bet.
Very good. Well, that was helpful. Got something squared away there. So, does anyone have anything else for today that they would like to bring up?
West Reading meeting with West Reading Master.
Oh, yeah, they gave us a few dates.
Yes, they give us.
What were those dates? I forget.
The first is, they proposed Thursday, July 11th. Thursday, July 18th. Monday, July 29th. And Thursday, August 22nd. 2024.
Okay, so to get everybody updated, because West Reading actually has most of their meetings on Tuesday, they have asked to meet with us they have put these dates together with possible times that they could meet with us, and then we would have to advertise a special meeting. So if Simon, since Peter and the new member and and Danny's not here, if you could send out an email with these dates to the commission members, and then we'll have a discussion via email as to what the best day is, and then we can make a decision and do a vote on at our regular meeting, and then we can vote to advertise it. Is that sound okay, Michelle?
Yes, that sounds like a plan. And just let me know if I'm needed. And I can check my schedule.
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, if you could add Michelle and Jerome to that email, and then yeah, we should be able to figure that one out. And since I'm back, I am back. And I also wanted to mention if some of you have been trying to get in touch with me past 2 weeks, I'm not ignoring you. My father passed away, so the past 2 weeks has been like really upside down, and today's the first day I've been able to get back to planning commission stuff. So I should be available now, like, once again. And okay. And I believe the last thing on our agenda is to announce that our regular planning commission meeting. Oh, no, actually, there is one more thing. Will and I had a discussion the other day. And one of the things that we talked about was moving how the commission members feel about moving the time of the planning commission back to what it was for many, many, many years. Well, actually, it wasn't that long. When I joined the planning commission in 2004, our start time was 7:30. Then we moved it to 7. And then at the request of staff, we moved it to 6 o'clock. So the question becomes for the planning commission members that I would like you to think about is, do we keep the meeting at 6 o'clock, or do we move it back? To 7 o'clock?
Yes, thank you for bringing it up, Mr. Chairman. We have already advertised, of course, for the remainder of this calendar year for 7, and I wouldn't want necessarily to, for 6 o'clock. I wouldn't necessarily want us to have to pay to re-advertise, but it is something to think about going forward. You know, what is most convenient? 6 o'clock is awfully early for some of us with the work obligations, etc. Things might lighten up for me a bit. Thank God the audio is working tonight. What we used to do when we had a long enough meeting, some members are aware, is take a short intermission, which I understand zoning hearing board does that also. BCTV said it was helpful for them to have. So those are things to think about. It's really more, I think, for, I would say for next year, unless people felt strongly about it in the meantime, if we thought it were worth it. But I appreciate that being brought up, because we have all new members, and people have been making the meetings, and now we meet, with the workshop also. It's probably good once in a while to ask everybody, what would work best for them. It helps that we take some of the things off the time of the meetings by covering them in the workshop, so the meetings aren't as long. So those are, I mean, we do have more work, more caseload than before. So those are all the things to balance. Part of the thought was about, stamp people and driving home, but of course nowadays they can attend in a hybrid format as well. Something else for us to be mindful of. And it helps a lot that the developers aren't necessarily driving in and out. A lot of them come from other counties because they can attend electronically as well. So those are all the things to balance, just something to think about that you and I were discussing, and appreciated the discussion, and, ask the members who are here to think about it. And of course, some are not here tonight. So we would want to include them as well, of course, but thank you.
Jamie made the comment about, kind of what Will touched on about it being kind of late. If we start the meetings at 7, especially on winter nights when it gets darker earlier, maybe some inclement weather. Also, even though we do have kind of a hybrid attendance model, to utilize the room, you still need city staff to be at least one city staff to operate the tech and have everything kind of set up. So just something to kind of keep in mind, that city staff would still need to be physically present at City Hall in order to have the meeting.
It was common, and it is still common to see a lot of, and Michelle probably can also weigh in on this, that a lot of municipalities are going to the 6 o'clock start, some going to 5 o'clock. So it does make sense for that, just to make sure that there's coordination and people can get home in a reasonable hour.
Yeah, the weird one that I used to attend was the Western Berks Water Authority. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they served lunch.
I will say that, when I was a planner in El Paso, our planning commissions were at 1 p.m. every other Thursday. It was during the day that we had our planning commission. So, it's something, it is something to think about, for next year. We still have plenty of time to set the calendar and time for next year, but just some considerations that city staff would need to be here in person physically. Also, if we do end up having a stacked agenda, if for whatever reason we have a month where we have 4 or 5 plans that need to be reviewed, that'll lead to a long meeting, even with an intermission getting out of here at 9 o'clock. So something to think about.
We used to go to midnight, so.
Yes, we
used to
did.
have 5 and 6 hour meetings.
Yes, we did. Let me throw out
So
there.
I've been trying to keep them short.
You've been doing a good job, but let me throw out there 6:30 maybe for next year.
Yeah, there's a possibility. So yeah, we'll.
You
can just go ahead, Will.
I'm sorry, yeah, just saying the daytime meetings, now since we've gone to the hybrid, we haven't had as much, although we have, I think, we haven't had as much for public comment. It's harder for members of the public to attend daytime meetings, is usually why I always try to discourage them for a public policy making body. Is my thought on that anyway. And I don't know about all the members and their work schedules, members of the commission. I guess what I should have clarified was if the meeting is earlier and it's going to be a long meeting, an intermission probably makes more sense. Later, it's probably less necessary, because quite frankly, we'll have had time to have eaten. That's really the point of that. So I mean, if we start earlier, it'd be more helpful to have an intermission, is the point. And people really shouldn't be sitting for hours and hours. And yes, and I've been on other public policy making bodies that have gone to midnight meetings as well. We could still stay sharp, but I mean, it's probably better, more convenient for everybody if we don't go quite as long. But like I said, we do have more workload than before, but it definitely helps splitting things up, like reviewing a sketch plan at this workshop, for example, so we don't have to do it next week. So there's some flexibility there, so we'll think it over. I appreciate people considering it.
Good. Okay, I believe that is everything, unless the commissioners have something to add.
I just think 6 or 6:30 is fine. I mean, I've been in jobs where the board meeting starts at 7 or 8, so the staff goes out to dinner, grabs something to eat, comes back and has to set up. So I think fair for you all, that's a long day. You know, the later you are, and also there's childcare, there's home requirements. And I'm sure you have on your calendar, this is always what you have spots. So I think 6:30 at the latest is fine. Because we can, I mean, I've done these meetings from my car, you know, coming from Philadelphia on, not 420, I think it was maybe 422 at a turnpike, just pull over at a rest stop and you could do it from there if you're stuck. But I think to be fair, here, we start the day off at 7. Start the next meeting at 7 at night. That's a long day. So 6:30 is fine still. Because if you're on the commission, you know the time. Get on it knowing what hours you have to be there. At 1 o'clock I can never do. That's the middle of the work day, and I can't. But I stayed in the office before later. Everyone leaves at 5. I'm still there until 6, and I'll sign off. But 6:30, 7, that's the.
Yeah.
We still
Yeah.
have
It-
like
with-
4 or
with-
5 months to go on. Go ahead, Jake.
So with kind of what Michelle said, I 6:30, 30 minutes is not too huge of a difference. 6:30 isn't bad. I my personal preference, of course, I know that would be probably earlier, 6 p.m. I know, like, at least for me, in my experience, because I get off at 4:30, I'm able to get to council meetings right at 5. And I know in this case, and at least I have a little bit of time if I want to grab a bite until 6 p.m. But the later it is, I mean, I feel that because we're using our brain so early in the day, by the time we get to the meetings in the afternoon, we can be a little, foggy and maybe not have the same kind of energy. So I honestly prefer earlier, just because I want my brain to still be intact. And I'm just thinking about how it was mentioned that the meetings ran till 12. I'm like, oh my God, you wouldn't have called me in those meetings. I mean, till 12 p.m. and then have to get up in the morning for work again. Seems pretty harsh. So, but I'm glad that the meetings don't go till 12 as I came on in January. But yeah, it seems pretty harsh for individuals who have to get up in the morning for work. So that's all.
I think our latest meeting in the last 4 years has been 9:30. The argument about the parking on Wash Street, where you cleared it. We've been now talking about the parking space for 3 years. Okay.
That was a fun meeting.
I
came
see
in
the
late the
project
next
wasn't
day.
even approved.
Yeah, so, okay, very good. I'm glad we were able to discuss this. And we'll get some more feedback from the commissioners who are not here. And then we'll make a decision. We don't make that decision until December, so we have time to think about it. All right, next planning commission meeting, it will be June 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m. back here at the third floor conference room. I do thank everyone for coming and have a very good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
No.
Good night.